South Jersey bad boys.
Oh, the melody on this is just...
Just went from 6 to midnight.
Yeah, this is what happens when you get a little bit of vodka in you before the show.
Hey-o.
Yeah.
Happy Monday.
Yeah, doing it up on a Monday with some, what would you call it? Is apple cider mules or something?
Apple cider mule, made by your lovely wife.
Mm-hmm. Hey, bitch wife upstairs made us some mules. So you don't get this type of service over at other South Jersey comedy podcast studios.
No, not at the strip club.
No, definitely not. No. But we'll Venmo you the $4 for this. But it's it's nice to get that. It just really gets things kick-started on a Monday evening after some work, after a wedding weekend for you.
Wild wedding weekend.
Yep.
Sister got married.
Yeah, not your own. I guess we should preface this. I get
Yes.
multiple calls on the weekends asking what you're up to.
Yes. No, we got some time before we officially tie that knot, just to save some quiche. And God, it's just been so much this year.
Yeah, so many weddings just in that wedding season.
But the big thing was just getting engaged and just buying myself some time.
Yeah.
So now I got some time before that, and then it's like I restarted the clock.
Yeah.
The clock was ticking for me to propose, and I was about 1 second left on the clock, and I threw up a buzzer beater.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when you propose, every single time that shot goes in.
Yeah.
So it did go in, and now the clock restarts.
Yeah.
New quarter, and I got a little bit of time before we actually have to officially get married.
Yeah, basically all that happened when you engaged, Sam just flipped that hourglass right over.
Exactly.
She's like, hey, great, thanks. By the way...
Dude, that is the perfect analogy.
By the way, the clock's now ticking again on
Unfortunately, there's also a baby clock side by side to it.
Oh, so she's got like a tall hourglass and then like one of the gift shop ones.
Yeah, and that thing is flying through.
Yeah.
Like, the time on that, I can't believe how quickly that is coming up.
Yeah, because that's March 23rd, right?
31st.
31st. Okay, so St. Patrick's Day might be your last sighting in public.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure you hear that all the time, and it doesn't seem to be the case, especially
before I moved to Mexico.
Yeah, that's what I was referring. Not even just like having to be inside with the baby. It's like, no, this is like you have that much time until you get a fake passport and you flee for either Mexico or Belize. I think Belize you get a little more bang for your buck, but we don't want to give any hints to where people might find you.
Yeah, we'll keep that close to the vest.
Yeah.
And we'll maybe put up a poll on the podcast and get some suggestions as to where I should go.
Yeah.
And, we'll toss it around.
I think we could do that. We could throw that around, get some suggestions where a fake passport would be strongest. Might be Belize, might be Guatemala.
Okay.
Central America in general, I think would be good.
How was your weekend?
It was good, dude. I did an edible for the first time Friday.
Really?
Oh, my God.
What happened?
I saw the future. It's just...
So what kind of edible?
It was some
gummy bear?
Gummy thing that a man gave to... I don't even know who he was. But it was just like, just told you we were watching the Phillies game outside. I'm like, yeah, we were doing it. And the next thing I know, I was like...
Who was the man? Just a
stranger walking up and down the street that was just like, hey, I have a bag of edibles. And there was like some gummy banger.
And that's when you decided for the first time, you know what, this will be the time that I do it.
Yep. Yeah, that's usually how it approaches me.
It's a wild move.
Yeah. I still have all those shrooms that we have yet to eat. I'm really incriminating myself here, but we have a lot of new listeners that need to. Oh yeah, actually I do. But I've been told
we're joking. We're joking. But...
yeah, we're absolutely joking. I'll show you after.
Sorry, cut you off there.
But we did this edible for the first time. Things got really loopy, got really like wobbly for a little while, and then I just started hearing and seeing shit.
Really?
Just all over the place. I have no idea.
What were you hearing?
Just like voices, mainly. Just,
were you actually, or are you fucking around?
No, like I actually was, and this has been happening a lot recently. You've ever like woken up and like think you hear a sound, but like there was no sound at all? Like,
sure.
It was probably coming from a dream, and it got like, I feel like it gets heightened when you're coming out of it.
Yeah, like you are in such a intense dream that you feel that it's reality, and then you come out of it and you're like, was that...
Yeah.
From the dream, or was that from...
And I usually know that it's not a loud bang or a horn or something, because if it was, the two dogs on top of me would have moved.
Yeah.
But they didn't. So, so like that, or like when I got home later that night after it like wore off, like well later after the fact, it was later at night, I get back and then I just start hearing shit inside like... I have no idea. Just
like hearing noises that were freaking you out.
Noises, and then I'm like really on edge, and I'm like, fuck, this fucking edible is this, and then I'm like seeing shit moving that wasn't moving.
Were you getting dizzy?
At the very beginning, I was like not dizzy, but like wobbly. I felt like I was rubber.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop laughing at one point. Yeah. Holy shit. And I was in the moment was just pissing myself laughing. And I knew in my head it was from the edible. Like I'm not, it was nothing I was laughing at.
Yeah.
But I was like cackling and I'm like, oh, this is what people in the movies when they're laughing uncontrollably, this is what it's like. I couldn't stop myself from laughing.
Yeah. It's weird. Like in my experience, I definitely just I don't really mess with those at all. Like I don't really enjoy them. If you find the right dosage for you, which for me is a very, very small amount, I could have a good time with it, get giggly, have fun and chill out. But in general, I don't really mess with those because in my experience, it's just like, I get so fucked up where it's like I'm too drunk. I'm dizzy. I can't like focus my eyes, and it's just a horrible time.
That's what it felt like. I couldn't focus on one thing, but I was like seeing stuff. I felt like a little drowsy like later, but that could have just been, I was up early that day and everything. It could have been that. But like when I first took it, it took a while to kick in, so I'm like, oh, I don't feel anything yet. And most people would take another one at this point. It was 45 minutes to an hour later.
It takes a while to kick in usually.
But then when it did, I was just like, I couldn't stand up, and I wasn't even drunk. I was just like, it was from that. And I like tried standing up, and I'm like, oh my God, things are like popping out. Like it felt like I was like, I don't know. I didn't even know if those were from that or what it had to have been, because I only had like 1 or 2 light beers at that point. And then it was just like random noises and like things that I would hear and be like, what? And it would be like, what are you talking? I'm like, oh, maybe I just heard something.
Yeah, I haven't had great experiences.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but
I'm a more traditional guy.
More traditional, like I was. Like you do coke before you smoke weed.
Yes,
that was my thing.
Cannot confirm or deny.
Yeah, but if
would never say that on air on YouTube
on air,
as we're both employed.
Yeah, we're just trying to set things up for our new listeners that are tuning in. We got Mark the truck driver's coming through. He's going to give us the lowdown on everything. He said, Mark, you got to send us a private message or something or get in touch with us, and we'll iron that out. That'd be great.
What's good is we're getting a lot of random fans that do a lot of different things that we can kind of just have this eclectic fan base that tells us a little bit of an inside scoop into that world. Like we got Mark the truck driver, we got a conspiracy guy that we're kind of hunting down right now that's going to give us some
hunting them down like Bigfoot. On that. Yeah,
and we'll eventually get our South Jersey buddies on here to tell us about their specific parts of South Jersey that they're from or experienced with.
Yep.
The good thing about the South Jersey Bad Boys is we can go in any different direction.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of different areas we could play with.
We're so slimy and constantly on hallucinogens that we can just morph into different areas that we want. That kind of personifies.
It's morphin' time.
Yeah, it's morphin' time. And we just slide because we're so slimy. We just slide in any which way direction, go through walls, if we take the right stuff. It's just all of that.
Fucking snake.
If we were to have mushrooms, it would be a really good time. And we very well should do an episode if we know somebody that has any of those.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, this is one of the nicer areas of the country, though. A lot of people
joking on the podcast.
Yeah, this is a comedy podcast, so we should do that. We don't make many statements on here, but I will loud and proud say that we should do that.
We should do that. We never will.
Yeah. We'll just have to. We'll let you guess what podcast episode it is that we do that.
Man. So we got a lot of. I'm feeling good. Like I feel like we've kept the consistency going with this podcast, and we're starting to kind of figure out just like our format, different areas that we can go into. We're
finally getting people reaching out to us saying, "Let us come on your program."
We got people reaching out. We got the hotline going where we got some good voicemails.
Yeah, we had a few on here of texts that I've gotten back to that we have a little too much to cover in the news, and I'm not going to get to the texts. It's just a little much. Get the voicemails in, though. It's
because we'll play them. We will play them on the podcast if you
clearly we played the first three voicemails that came in on our last one, and one of them was
interesting to talk about. We'll talk about.
Yeah, and what type of topic should we load up with? This is going to come out right before Halloween as we get into November. How about we'll get into November? We'll get ahead of the game here with Thanksgiving related content. What has been the best argument that you have encountered at a Thanksgiving dinner with your family or maybe someone else's family?
Ooh. Yeah.
South Jersey, you know, those arguments are flying. That's all it was at mine. We had to go to different Thanksgiving dinners because if we stayed at our own, it would be a shit show.
And what's interesting about Jersey is it's very opposite sides of the political spectrum. Like, we're weirdly, a very blue state, but there's a ton of conservatives.
It's wild, right?
So at a Thanksgiving dinner, you could see a big clash in a state like New Jersey because it's kind of all over the place.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's it's crazy with that because as blue as it is, Chris Christie was a 2-term governor and was as Republican as you can get.
Yeah.
So it is crazy. And then Phil Murphy this past year almost lost to a guy that like no one ever heard of, and I still haven't heard of since then. So it's weird how close that kind of, it's not like New York where it's like a,
landslide.
Who gives a shit who you vote for? It's going to be blue no matter what.
Right,
I think Jersey's kind of gone because you do have Cumberland County, Salem County.
Did you know, this is a fun fact, my cousin's grandfather, so, his grandfather on the other side, so we don't share that same grandfather, was the former governor of New Jersey. Governor Florio, who just unfortunately passed away like a month ago.
Oh, interesting.
Isn't that crazy?
That's wild. I thought you were going to say was, what's his name? James McGreevy.
No.
This is
was that the gay governor of New Jersey?
That is, and I think we talked about it on an episode because I remember being at my Pop Warner football practice.
It was a big deal when he came out.
When he came out right before it, and remember we were talking about this Pop Warner and football coaches from back then, and they were just at that thing. They were just talking about it like, I can't believe I fucking voted for that guy, but it was a big deal.
Isn't that crazy that you look back and back then somebody just coming out of the closet was such a big deal.
It was a press conference on every channel.
Yeah, it's even funny to think that just people even have to discuss or not discuss, just like announce their sexual orientation.
Yeah, because now it wouldn't be a press conference; it would be like a comment on a Facebook post or something.
Yeah, like maybe it would be just be news for a day, like, oh, so and so just officially came out.
Yeah,
if they weren't already openly, but now it's just so not.
It's not a thing. People just like, oh, that's great. Yeah.
But it was back then when somebody came out of the closet, it was a scandal.
And we're saying back then as if this wasn't like 2005.
Right.
I think it was 05, 06 maybe. Yeah.
Like they treated it as a scandal, as if it was like,
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, wait, so what'd they do? Were they like,
That's just in like 20 years, how crazy things changed just in 20 years and how things have advanced so much. And people swear that it's like still the 1800s.
Guy just likes some dudes.
Yeah. That's all we ever talk about on this program. It's just liking dudes.
Governor hanging out with guys.
Yeah. And look at us. We're talking to dude conspiracy theorists. We're talking to dude truck drivers about like what gets us off on the road. I mean,
we have a heavy dude listener fan base.
I do look at the demographics. The only time where it skews more to the side of women is when they're shitting on us in the comments. And it's usually when we attack women. It's weird.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that one out. Yeah, but we're gonna have to really dig deep and figure out what the issue is.
What the issue is, because at this point, I don't know. I don't get it. And just like women in general, there's nothing to understand. And that's it.
There's some more comments that will be coming in next week.
But Mark the truck driver, please send us a message. We're going to have you on, and you're going to give us the lowdown on everything here. And this is going to turn into that truck driving podcast we've always dreamed of.
Marky Mark.
So we were talking about South Jersey. There was a guy that created a map. Here's a map that he defined the different regions of New Jersey. He broke it up as this, and quite honestly, I can't even... I want to disagree because technically where I grew up is considered Central Jersey. I've always drawn the line, and I'll get your thoughts on this, right where Trenton is at the part here where it comes in on the left side where it makes a point right here. I've drawn a line from there straight across. South Jersey is everything down here. North Jersey's there. You got a shore region, and you got like a mythical Central Jersey in the 95 corridor. This is rather...
I think that nails it from what I'm looking at right now.
I think it goes from Philly right across. However, the only problem I have with it is that if you take this line straight across, Northeast Philly goes up into here, and there's no way anybody in Northeast Philly directly across the river from there would be Central Jersey.
Yeah, that's true. You would have to slant that south upward. So where that line is that's cutting off, like what towns...
So this goes pretty much right through Cherry Hill and Haddonfield and everything.
Oh, well, yeah, then I disagree because...
I think it should go from right up here somewhere.
Yes.
There, over to like
because
Seaside.
everybody in Cherry Hill, that area, Camden County, we're so close to, Philadelphia.
Yeah, and
It's anybody that's a Eagles fan, I kind of consider South Jersey.
You usually don't start seeing a lot of New York fans until you get to Trenton. You'll see Yankee shit. You'll start seeing Giants stuff.
Yeah,
all
true.
in there.
I think that is honestly the dividing line. Is
Right
like
there.
what territory do you get into becoming a New York fan or a Philadelphia fan?
Yeah, exactly. Like
That's
above.
really the cutoff point.
That's the only way I can justify it is based on the fan bases. Up in here, you can make this Giants territory, maybe Jets, whatever. Down here is Philly. Central Jersey is like a blend of the two colors that goes straight across.
Exactly. And then when you get to that place where you're talking to people from New Jersey and you go, are you Eagles fan or are you Giants fan? They're like, I don't really know. There is that mythical Central Jersey.
Yeah, and the good thing about separating it that way is that you have South Jersey, which has Camden, Vineland, Atlantic City, a lot of places like that. Then you got Central Jersey, which has Trenton, and if going across, you get like places like Seaside. North Jersey obviously has a lot of the Pattersons, Hoboken, way up in Western. All of these places, each section has their own area that should be nuked off the face of the planet.
Yeah.
So we all share that in common with one another. And no matter whose sports team is winning, we can all agree that, I would nuke a part of my section in New Jersey.
Yeah, you know what? Comment in. This is interesting. Whether you're from North Jersey or you consider yourself Central, or South Jersey, what do you consider the worst town
in your area? Like worst by
ours has to be Camden. Maybe not so much anymore. There's probably some Camden they've kind of cleaned up. There's probably some spots that are competing.
It's usually the spots that are really going far, like way downhill, where Camden's been living there for a long time. Mm-hmm. They've been climbing up out of it. They've changed a lot. There's a lot of corporations going there because there's tax incentives. Maybe the places that are starting to get flipped one, like Ocean City just increased their beach tag policy where they're increasing the prices to $10 a day, 25 for like a week or some shit like that.
Yeah, but I still wouldn't consider them. I mean,
they're going downhill.
They would be nowhere close to the worst. Wildwood, you want to throw in there. Mm-hmm. I could believe that.
Mm-hmm. Throw Wildwood in there. Atlantic City's basically there as well. Them and Camden are connected, and it's just like an artery that connects to each other of shittiness. But it's those places outside of there. Like, I want to see Moorestown go downhill. I want to see Moorestown get an influx of like carjackings.
You know what? That instead of Martha's Vineyard, they should send them to Moorestown.
That's what I was thinking.
That's probably their next spot.
Moorestown or Haddonfield. There's a lot of great connections that would be able to be made from wherever they fly them in at to a local airport, get them in there, or just all down way South Jersey. Nobody lives down there. Let's just take that over. There's a good reason why.
Yeah, what is the southest tip of Jersey?
Probably Cape May, and if I'm not mistaken, parts of Cape May actually technically go below the Mason-Dixon line. If you were to draw a line straight across,
so tropical.
Yeah, a little tropical. That's when we say Mason-Dixon, we're talking about the.
I'm thinking of the equator.
You're thinking of the equator. I was thinking of the Tropic of Cancer. What's the other one right above it? Yeah, we're tropical. You get palm trees down there.
The Tropic of, I don't know.
Yeah, Cape May County, right down there. It's just wineries and a defunct zoo.
Yeah,
not
Tropic
defunct.
Thunder.
Yeah, not defunct, but they should just have like wild fucking animals like groundhogs and squirrels just running around down there. But you got that, and then you got other parts going just east of there that are like basically going to fall into the Delaware Bay at any given moment.
Oh, you know what? Atlantic City is a major shithole.
You're like, you know what?
That is actually a sleeper for one of the worst places, I believe.
Absolutely. I think it's definitely, if we're going to look at just across the board, it would be no surprise that it's Camden and Atlantic City. And for shore towns in this shore region, let's be honest, it's Sleeside Heights. That should be no surprise to anybody. There's a lot of other ones in here, but Monmouth and Belmar and
they got some upscale.
Lavalette is very nice. You got some other ones up there that are nice.
Some upscale people still vacation in those spots.
But in Seaside, we were there one day during the summer. Did you see anybody on the boardwalk in Seaside that you're like, yeah, you know what? I would help them out of a nuclear holocaust?
No, not in particular. There was a lot of people there that you would not want to
bring to Thanksgiving dinner.
Talking to at a bar.
Yeah. talking to, let alone being friends with on Facebook. There was a lot of those folks there. So
yeah, a lot of political Facebook rants from people in Seaside from the looks of them.
Yeah. And a lot of these, it's not even going to go just by, obviously you could say Camden, Atlantic City, Trenton, whatever. You're really pointing out a lot of more of the poverty-stricken areas. There's so many places outside of there that I would consider fucking terrible. Hoboken being one of them. It's probably very upscale, but nothing I would want any parts of.
Hoboken's fun.
Yeah. I've been there once.
You said a complete opposite statement and then agreed with me like Hoboken I would never want any part of. Hoboken's nice. Yeah.
No, I would not be sad if they fell
Completely
into the Hudson
flip-flop.
River is all I'm saying. But it was nice when I was there, but I want no parts of it in my state.
It's very much a college, now it's kind of been taken over by college kids who want to get into New York City.
Yeah, college kids are too old for me. It's there's a lot of homecomings to crash this weekend. That you were at the wedding, so you didn't.
No, I did not. Haven't been partaking in homecoming season this year.
I made so much money selling wine coolers to teenagers this weekend.
Nice. That's how we keep this podcast afloat.
How do you think we were able to afford the ginger beer in the white people section of the liquor store?
How do you think we're paying for the big guys' lap dances?
Yeah. Oh, shit. So, yeah, comment in and tell us what you think is, like, the one area, like, just the place you hate the most in your own given area. If we have any North Jersey listeners, I want to invite them over here to fight us with a knife. But
North Jersey, like Newark, is pretty bad, right?
Newark is kind of like right above this.
We have
line
to say that
they
as
drew.
a disclaimer because we don't know North Jersey as well, obviously.
No, because we were taught in school to not pay attention to it. There's usually not a whole lot good that comes out of Northwest New Jersey. You're basically in the Poconos, divided by a river.
There's certain parts of Jersey City. Jersey City is extremely nice now for the most part, but there's still certain parts that are still very bad.
Yeah. A lot of these places, it's always a give and take because you try and make a place nicer, but then you get accused of gentrifying it, which I can get to a degree, but then like it's constantly just volleying back and forth. It's like, okay, then it can just remain a shit. And there's places like that. It doesn't matter if it's white or black. There's plenty of shitholes where there's white people. Look at most of deep South Jersey.
I got no problem with gentrification. Like people always talk about that as if it's a bad thing, but I feel like it gets confused with them taking over the culture of a place. But in my mind, gentrification is usually just places that are on their fucking deathbed, that are absolute shitholes, and they just clean them up and like put some stuff to do around there and make them a little bit nicer. It's never like this cool hip part of town that's thriving that they just make into something completely different. It's usually like absolute shitholes that they just make a little bit more they just have some more things to do there.
And that's how I've noticed it as well. I lived in Philly for 4 or 5 years, and I saw that with plenty of areas going on. But I'll tell you what, if my wife ever tries to come into this basement and try and gentrify my basement, I'm going to be fucking pissed too. Yeah. She's going to take off the pictures of Gary Busey on the wall and replace them with Hillary Swank and Jennifer Aniston. I'm going to be fucking
where
livid.
we draw the line.
That is where we want Gary Busey, until he is found guilty in a court of law.
As we've said, we support Gary Busey unless everything he's done is true.
He's got to be coming back for that court case pretty soon, I think.
Yeah,
we're going to have to look that up.
We're going to have to show up.
Yeah, but yeah, I will. It'll be a cold day in hell when that woman upstairs comes down here and tries to gentrify my podcast studio. Yeah. So, but yeah, let us know which place you hate the most in New Jersey.
Yeah,
we're a fun-loving podcast here. Truck drivers would have a lot to say about this, to be honest. Here is a another kind of article. I didn't know that people still did these, but this is going to be a fun exercise for us. We covered one of these before. Dear Abby columns are still a thing where people write into a newspaper for advice. We covered one of these before. It was about the terminally ill in dating. When do I disclose that I am terminally ill to the person I just started dating? This one was an interesting one, and it reads very well. Dear Abby, my husband has started walking around the house with no underwear, and I'm disgusted. So, just this and then the response is great. So I'll just quickly read through this. She said, I'm so disgusted. My husband started walking around the house with no underwear, letting it all hang out, so to speak. Then he makes comments like, doesn't this look good? I'm sickened by his behavior. I feel violated. How do I tell him to stop without hurting his male pride? I'm covering my eyes in Tennessee. She wrote this in for advice to somebody, and she married this guy who, I don't think this came from nowhere. Do you think
No, that's, if you're married and the guy's like just doing that, I feel like you had to know who this guy, like, that's not just
he wakes up one day and he's like, you know what,
Yeah, like you probably know this guy's weird sense of humor.
Yeah.
And if he's that comfortable where he's got his balls out, you should be comfortable enough to go, yo, tuck those back in.
Exactly. When I first read this, I thought she was talking about like was wearing pants with no underwear on. She just means full blown, just walking around with nothing below the waist.
Yeah, just be like, what the fuck are you doing? I mean, is this really like, how do I tell him without hurting his male pride? Fucking smack him in the dick and say, yo, you're being disgusting. Put your pants on.
Yeah, exactly. I just think that people like this, like certain, I don't know, if you started doing this at home, would Sam write into a newspaper columnist for advice?
Like that's your go-to move. You're like, how do I deal with this? My husband's walking around the house with his bird out, and I had to write into to the paper. You know what? I think there are some other solutions.
So the advice that came in was, she said, I'm sorry you didn't mention how old your husband is and how long you two have been married, but any radical change in an older person's behavior could indicate a serious medical problem. Consider discussing this with your doctor because your exhibitionist spouse may need a medical and neurological exam to see if he's experienced a small strokes or dementia.
What the fuck are you talking about? The guy's being hilarious, walking around with his penis out.
Yeah, exactly. He's just walking. Well, I don't see the problem.
Tell him to knock it off. This is not a textbook solution that you need to look up in the almanac.
Yeah. And if
the encyclopedia. Just fucking Jesus Christ.
And she said if he's still a youngin', give him the affirmation he's asking for and then ask him to cover up.
Is this a feminist column? Because it does not sound like one. She's like, you cannot shame his behavior. You need to call a doctor. He might have a medical issue. He should be allowed to walk around with his penis out and say, hey, how good does this look? You know, maybe we should start writing into Dear Abby.
You know what? I think we should. Let's get this column here, and we're going to respond because we're going to write our own. We're going to come up with our own. This one feels like it was a troll comment. Like, there's no way that this was 100% real. I think we should write something similar and be like, hey, my wife is walking around the house
with her clam out. Keep telling her to put it away.
All she's doing is just shouting, oh yeah, we could just go down that hole, or we could just go.
So we can actually submit something?
We can. I just love how her thing going back to it was that he needs a medical exam or a neurological exam because he might have had a stroke.
Yeah.
It's like, my husband's walking around without his pants on. It's just, it's not like she said like, oh yeah, my husband took his pants off during a family party and was walking up to people asking them their thoughts on it. Like he was doing this with just you two home.
Yeah.
The guy's probably a little quirky. He's having a midlife crisis. He probably just retired and was celebrating by hanging some brain. And you're just fucking coming in and destroying his time.
Guy's just trying to have a goof and you're writing into the paper.
Yeah, exactly. This. Here's Abby.
Okay, so maybe an older audience she's expecting.
Yep, exactly. Who are we going to write in as? Let's just do this live.
Okay, how about, so are we writing in as a woman?
I think we should. And I think we should talk shit about our husband and see if she actually runs it.
Okay, our name is Cheryl.
Cheryl?
First name Cheryl.
Cheryl. Full name, actually. Cheryl Borgenstein.
Borgenstein.
No, not Borgenstein.
Now, how about let's do something better. Cheryl. Well, I guess we don't want it to be, we want to get a response.
Yes, it's got to seem like...
We can't be too...
Cheryl Radcliffe. How about that? With an E on the end. That seems like a pretty good. Daytime phone. We'll give her our hotline number.
Perfect.
Here we go. 566174626 if you want to call in, by the way. There we go. Evening phone. I love when they have daytime and evening phone. This definitely goes back to most people that are filling this out. Street address. Jesus. Let's put in something.
Do you have to put that in?
Yeah, it's a required field.
Jeez.
I'm going to put in the address that I grew up at.
Great.
My family has not lived there in many years, and there we go. We got the information that we need. So now our message. What are we going to bitch about? What has Cheryl got on her mind? Do you have any ideas?
All right, so we're complaining about the husband.
We're complaining about her husband. You can talk about her husband meeting her boyfriend, like whatever we want to do.
I'm trying to think. So, Dear Abby.
Yep. Dear Abby. That's a good start.
I am concerned about my husband, Remus.
Remus?
Yes.
There we go. Remus. R-E-M-I-S?
Yes.
I'm concerned about my husband, Remus. I would be concerned as well. This is actually pulling at my heartstrings already.
Yeah. Let's see.
How about we'll go sentence by sentence back and forth, and you have to go off what the last person said.
Little Mad Libs.
Yeah, little Mad Libs kind of action. I'm concerned about my husband, Remus. He just turned 65 years old, and his birthday party was not what I expected.
Okay. He invited over 15 of his closest friends and requested that they all remove their socks and sneakers.
And he requested that they all remove their socks and sneakers.
That's it for my sentence.
Okay. The problem with this is that the party was outside and it was pouring rain. It was outside in our backyard and it was pouring rain.
Okay. After hours of drinking with all of his friends, he started to violently yell at all of his buddies to each put their big toe in their mouths and started blasting Who Let the Dogs Out.
Let's put your big toe in your mouth.
While he played Who Let the Dogs Out over and over again. By the Baja Boys.
By the Baja Men.
Baja Men, excuse me.
Who Let the Dogs Out
besmirch
by
their name.
the Baja Men. Great song, by the way.
Great song.
Yeah. Although I was impressed that 9 out of 15 of his friends could fit their big toe in their mouth, could put their big toe in their mouths, I'm a little off-put in his music selection for a birthday party.
When I asked him why he decided to do this, he said, "It's just guys being guys. You won't understand. You never have fun with me anymore." And we should probably start to begin a conclusion from here, I would imagine.
Yeah, yep. I'll try and close the book here with a piece of more grasping at Abby's heartstrings.
Let's start to wrap it, start to wind down and ask some questions for advice of like,
yeah, where do we go from here?
Sorry, I don't want to tell you what to do. This is your sentence and yours completely.
Yes. And at this point, she has to let it all out. This broke my heart, especially since I thought we had a great time over the summer in Jamaica with our swingers group.
I got something from here that might be able to put a bow on this.
Yeah. Yep.
My question is, in order to save our marriage, backspace, get rid of that. My question is, now that I know about my husband, now that I know about Remus's foot fetish, should I begin to casually suggest the idea of sucking my own big toes in order to save our marriage?
We're not sucking.
Hope to hear from you soon.
Of putting my own big toes
into my
mouth.
To my mouth.
To save our marriage. That's the question, and that's how we have to leave. And the salutation is going to be waiting with my socks off. Cheryl. Send to Dear Abby. This is wonderful.
Oh, that's perfect. Let's hope we hear back.
Let's hope we hear back. I'm just gonna
waiting with my socks
off. Let's just.
I gotta do this more often. We should do a weekly question to Dear Abby.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions you want us to ask Dear Abby, or we could call people to ask our own Dear Abby. How about next episode we call somebody in one of our contacts and just get them to help us formulate a question.
Okay.
We'll go sentence by sentence around the horn with a couple of people. I don't give a shit who it is. Let's play phone roulette and call a random contact that you come to in your phone, and it's going to be a ball.
Wonderful.
Yep. All right, so we're sending.
Let's hit send.
Send to Dear Abby. Your letter's been sent to Dear Abby.
Thank you, Abby.
We're going to see just how good of advice Abby thinks she gives. She does a few of these a week. I left my email, my phone number, and my parents' old address. So we'll see what happens.
She looks like Joan Rivers' daughter.
Yeah, she looks like Joan Rivers if she didn't have plastic surgery 17 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Abby. Let's hope for the best.
Let's hope Abigail comes back with something good.
It might be a good place.
I think we should stop there because...
and save that other video for next week.
We'll save the other video. It's not as timely. We'll save it for the next week. So you guys got to come back. There's a great video we're going to play next week of a guy on a subway car with his own Wilson. And I love it so much. And yeah, this is episode 24. So
24, baby.
We're now, what's a significant 20? We are Jeff Gordon number of episodes into this podcast.
Yeah.
And
Kobe Bryant number of episodes.
Yeah, Kobe Bryant, post-rape Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
And he had to change his number because of that. But yeah, Kobe
was
Bryant.
That? Yeah, that was post.
It was kind of like re-envisioning himself.
He was good in the post.
He was good in the post. Yeah,
right.
Damn right. And Jeff Gordon was good on the track. I don't think Jeff Gordon had any off-the-track issues that we know of.
I'm sure he'll have something to merge.
Yeah, he'll commit a hate crime in Louisiana eventually.
Yeah.
But until he does...
He might have a Papa John situation by looking at that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he might open his own pizza chain if you know what we're talking about.
Let's pray for not that.
And let's pray that the Phillies win the World Series so that we can go get drunk on Broad Street.
Go Birds. Grease them poles, baby.
Yeah, grease those poles because we're going to sit on one.
Yeah. You can't stop us, baby.
No, you can't stop it. We see a grease pole and we're attracted to like a moth to a light.
That's right.
Yeah. We'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.